So let's talk about renting versus buying. And I have some notes down here, so I'm going to be looking down, but I just want to share the right numbers with you. So in Tyler, Texas, the average overall rent is $1,500 per month over all property types. Okay, so for an apartment, you can get a studio for $842 a month. I don't know where you can get that, but that's what my notes say from Realtor.com, Zillow, and other sources. But let's look at kind of the more average like home that somebody might have. A 2-bedroom, $1,285 a month, a 3-bedroom, $1,541 a month. So it says our average house is $1,923 a month. The average mortgage payment in Tyler, Texas, this says Zillow, according to Zillow, I think it's actually a little bit higher than this, but Zillow said the median home value for Tyler, Texas is about $250,000. And they're saying if you take a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 6.78% interest with a 20% down payment, which is a lot, your loan amount would be $199,870. And when you add in your taxes and insurance and everything, it comes to about, let's see, your estimated total monthly payment, including taxes and insurance, is between $1,600 and $1,700 a month. So the average 3-bedroom apartment was $1,541. The average house, $1,923 per month to rent. And your average mortgage with 20% down, which is a big chunk of money, but is around $1,600 to $1,700 a month in Tyler, Texas. Now, of course, these numbers can vary based on taxes and insurance, and every neighborhood is a little bit different on all those things. The age of the house, the age of the roof, all those things are different. They're different per property, but it's just some general information to kind of get you thinking about what is the difference between renting and buying. So if the average monthly rent for a 3-bedroom house is $1,923 and for a 3-bedroom apartment is $1,541, it really seems like with the cost involved, it's kind of relatively comparable. But buying offers the potential for you to build equity. Okay, so that is a big thing, building equity over time. And while you're renting, you don't have any flexibility really in what you can do to the house or making changes or any of that. You potentially have somebody who's going to boot you out if they decide to sell the house. And I guess there are some benefits in that you wouldn't have the upfront costs of saving for your down payment, saving for your closing costs and all of those things, your inspections, you're just going to pay per month, and then you're going to own nothing, but you're going to just have that payment and you don't have to worry about any maintenance or anything like that. So there is some benefit to renting in certain times and certain seasons of your life, for sure. The best choice for you, whether to rent or to buy, depends on your personal financial situation, your long-term plans. I mean, you don't want to go buy a house and then move next year. Then you're just putting all that money down, and you may or may not, you probably aren't going to get it out if you sell it really quickly, because there's costs in selling. And so you need to hold on to a house for a few years in order to get your money out of it and to, especially if you think you're going to make any money. So you don't want to, buy if your long-term plans are not to stay where you are for a little bit. And then, of course, your housing preferences. I mean, you may want a backyard. You may not care about that. You may not want a yard to take care of. So, it just depends on you and your situation. But really, it's not that big of a difference to buy or sell, to buy or rent in just the monthly cost. It's really not a huge difference there. It's the cost of getting into a home that would be maybe prohibitive for some people. So start saving your money, work on your credit, make sure that you get rid of all your debt, or at least try to keep it very minimal. And, if you want to start following some things to give you some good information, get online, listen to podcasts, follow people that are financially wise, and start putting money away if you think you might want to buy. But if you want to rent, and you're good with that, and you don't want any responsibilities, and you don't want any obligations, and you're okay with your rent possibly going up and not building any equity, I mean, that's a choice. Personally, I think buying is a better option. Hey, thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe, would ya? We'd appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a great day.